If we haven't met yet, my name's Jeff. I'm one of the pastors here. And like Harrison mentioned this morning, we're going to be kind of continuing in this series in James that we're calling Are We There Yet? And not this morning, we're not there yet now, but next week we will be, right? We're actually going to come to the conclusion of this series. And the main reason I bring it up is we're going to do something that's a little bit outside the norm for us. That I think is really going to be meaningful, and I think God is going to use it. So whether you are here in the room or maybe you're worshiping online on Thursday because you were coming back from art camp, whatever the case, I just want to encourage you. I genuinely believe it's going to be worth it for you to make space in your life to be here in person next week. So do what you will with that. This morning, we're going to be talking about submitting to God's will, right? And what that is going to look like. But I kind of wanted to set up, I will also call for the offering. If we could get the jeans pockets to go around. I wanted to set up kind of a foundational thing. Because of my job, people ask me questions about God's will a lot. And usually what they're asking me is, what is God's will? Very few people actually come and say, well, God's will for me is X. And I'm just like, nah, right? That's just not a thing that we do. And here's what I think is really difficult about submitting to God's will is that God is kind of in this spiritual realm, right? And we are in this natural one. And so his will can feel really mysterious and far off and difficult to connect with. I think that some of the wisdom James is going to share with us will make that a lot easier. But I wanted to start us with a little bit of a foundation around the idea of what it could look like to submit to somebody's will. And so I got a story I'm going to share. I talk a lot about my extracurricular activities as a young person because it's just a powerful thing and kind of shows God can save anybody. But I actually had some extracurricular activities that are not illegal. Like I had some good extracurriculars that I did. And so one of those was sports. When I was in high school, I did football and wrestling and track. And so anytime you give a 45-year-old man with a wife and kids a chance to sell like a sports glory story, sorry, not sorry. But the story that I always tell is not about the football team that won the state championships. It's not about discus or the 4x4 where I medaled at a state level, although I found a way to say those things in this story. It's actually about wrestling. And I didn't start wrestling until I was a sophomore in high school. And so like I was always kind of like built like a wrestler. But you got guys been wrestling 7-8 years at that point. There's just no way I was ever going to be like good at that sport. But there were these two brothers, Sam and Josh Hakeem, that were in our district. They went to Randolph, which was like our arch rival high school. And they were the kind of kids who started wrestling when they were like 2 and had a wrestling room in their basement. And they went to camps and had coaches and they were going to get college scholarships, like just people you don't really mess with. And so this rumor kind of was going around. I was going to this JV tournament that meant literally nothing to anybody. But the rumor was that the Hakeem brothers were actually going to come because sometimes they would go to these like JV tournaments, I think to make themselves feel good. I don't really know. But the rumor was they were coming, and I wrestled 171, and Sam Hakeem was 171, and so I kind of knew decent chance I'm going to end up wrestling this dude who's going to wipe the mat with me. But so I kind of set an appropriate goal that I just wanted to take down. Like it's literally all I wanted. If I got a takedown, that was going to be a win. And I practiced the way I thought I was going to be able to do that. I visualized it. I got all pumped up for the match, and I go out, and first period, we're kind of doing this thing. So the way wrestling matches work, if you don't know, they're 6 minutes long. It's 3 2-minute periods, and you can win either by scoring more points than the other guy or by pinning them. And like I knew I wasn't going to pin him. I knew I wasn't going to score more points, but I'm going to get my takedown. And so the first period starts, and I go out, and we're kind of dancing around doing our thing, and I go for the takedown, and I miss, and he throws me immediately in this move called a power half, which basically like they lock your hips down and then put a half Nelson in and just like twist you back. It's awful. And most people get pinned once you're in a power half because it takes more strength than you probably have to like resist. And what's even worse is because you're having to contract these muscles that they're twisting, the more you fight it, the more it hurts. It's really kind of sadistic. But so I get thrown in this power half, but I am so committed that I'm going to get my takedown. I knew I wasn't going to escape from the thing. But like, the first period's going to end, and I'm going to get another chance. And so I just got to survive. And so I survived, and we go to the second period, and I go in there, and I mean, it was probably like 5 or 6 seconds. But he puts me right back in a power half. And at this point, I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, I already know I'm going to lose, right? Chances are my strength is going to give out, and I'm probably going to lose by getting pinned. And this hurts like a lot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting the takedown. I might as well just give this in. And I look over and I see like my team up on the mat going nuts because I'm not getting pinned. And so my goal changed.